Most parents hand their kids a Monopoly board and feel good about it. It's got money in it, right? Properties, rent, investments. It looks like financial education. But here's what's actually happening. Every mechanic in that game is training your child to think about money the way broke people think about money. Not because the game is badly designed, because it was designed on purpose. Just not for the reason you think. The core lesson Monopoly teaches is this. The only way to win is to destroy everyone else financially. You don't build something people love. You don't solve a problem or create a system. You corner the board, trap your opponents, and watch them go bankrupt. That's the win condition. And if your child absorbs that framework before age 12, it doesn't stay in the box when the game ends. It follows them into how they see business, partnerships, and money for the rest of their lives. Monopoly wasn't designed to teach good financial habits. It was designed to expose how a broken system crushes ordinary people. Most parents have no idea, and we'll get to that history in a moment. The Monopoly mechanics breakdown. The game was originally called The Landlord's Game. Elizabeth Magie invented it in 1903, not to celebrate landlords, but to show exactly how they extract wealth from tenants without creating anything in return. It was a political statement, a critique. The game was meant to make players feel the injustice of a system that rewards ownership over contribution. Then Parker Brothers commercialized it, stripped out the critique, and sold it to families as a fun way to learn about money. The warning became the curriculum. So let's go mechanic by mechanic, because the damage isn't in one rule. It's in all of them stacked together. Rent extraction. You buy a property, you do nothing to improve it, and every time someone lands on it, they owe you money. They have no choice. There's no negotiation, no value exchange, no reason for the rent other than the fact that you own the space and they have to pay whether they can afford it or not. That's not investing. That's extraction. The habit it builds is this. Position yourself so others have no option but to pay you, and call that winning. Hoarding cash. The safest monopoly strategy isn't to deploy your money into growing assets. It's to sit on it, wait, and survive longer than everyone else. That directly contradicts how compounding actually works. Money that sits doesn't grow, but the game rewards the hoarder, not the builder. Bankrupting opponents. You don't win Monopoly by creating something great. You win when the last person standing can't pay their rent. The win condition is collapse. Other people's collapse. Wealth framed as a weapon is one of the most corrosive ideas a child can carry into adulthood. Property monopolies. The game literally rewards you for cornering a color group so no competition exists. Not for building something better than what was there before. Not for earning the business. For eliminating the option. That's the opposite of value creation, and it's exactly backwards from how sustainable businesses actually grow. Chance and community chest. Land on the wrong square and you lose money. Land on the right one and you collect $200 for no reason. The lesson buried in those cards is that financial outcomes are random. Luck determines whether you rise or fall, not behavior, not decisions, not compounding over time. That's a victim mindset dressed up as a game mechanic. Go to jail and free parking. The system punishes you arbitrarily and rewards you randomly. No skill involved. No connection between what you did and what you received. Children who internalize this stop believing their choices matter. Because in the game, they often don't. Put all 6 of those mechanics together and you have a complete education in scarcity thinking. Hoard, extract, corner, eliminate, and hope luck goes your way. Parents across the country are playing this game at the kitchen table, calling it financial education and wondering later why their adult children avoid risk, distrust partners, and spend money to signal status instead of building net worth. The game isn't teaching your child how wealth works. It's teaching them how poverty thinks, what real wealth actually looks like. So if Monopoly is the wrong map, what does the right one look like? 2 things actually build generational wealth. Not luck, not cornering a market, compounding and partnership. And neither one of them shows up anywhere on that board. Start with compounding, because the math here is the kind that should make every parent stop scrolling. A teen who puts away $50 a month starting at age 14, earning an average 8% annual return, walks into retirement with roughly $380,000. Once that teen waits until age 24 to start the exact same habit, ends up with around $130,000. Same discipline, same amount, 10 years of difference. That gap isn't double. It's $250,000 gone because the clock started late. Monopoly has no version of this mechanic. Hotels generate flat rent every time someone lands on them. The money doesn't grow between turns. It doesn't reinvest. It doesn't compound. It just sits there until someone hands it over. Real wealth is patient and mathematical, and it works quietly in the background over years. That's the exact opposite of what the game rewards. Monopoly rewards the fast grab. Compounding rewards the long hold. Now here's where the zero-sum myth does its most damage. If your child believes that every dollar you earn is a dollar someone else loses, they'll avoid every partnership that could have multiplied their outcome. They'll distrust collaboration. They'll compete when they should be building. And they'll cap their own ceiling without realizing it. The wealthiest people in the world didn't get there by owning the only road. They built something millions of people chose to use. Consider what actually happened with Amazon. Bezos didn't trap bookstores on a color-coded board and charge them rent. He built a logistics and delivery system so efficient that consumers switched voluntarily. The value he created attracted the wealth. He didn't extract it from people who had no other choice. The same pattern shows up in real estate. Investors who win long-term aren't the ones squeezing maximum rent out of deteriorating properties. They're the ones improving buildings, keeping tenants, and growing asset value over time. Partnership with the tenant, not extraction from them. This is the PIA versus UAW distinction worth understanding. Prodigious accumulators of wealth build through systems and relationships. They see other people's success as evidence that more success is possible. Under accumulators of wealth compete, hoard, and spend to signal status, because they believe the pie is fixed, and someone else eating means they get less. Monopoly trains the UAW mindset from age 8. The goal isn't to raise a child who beats everyone else at the table. It's to raise a child who understands that building a bigger table is worth more than owning the whole one you're already sitting at. What to play and do. Instead, you don't need to throw the game away. What you need is a better debrief and a few tools that actually model how wealth gets built. Start with the games. Robert Kiyosaki built cash flow specifically to teach what Monopoly never does. Passive income that grows through smart decisions, not lucky dice rolls. Players track income statements and balance sheets. They practice getting out of the rat race by building assets that generate returns over time. The win condition isn't someone else's bankruptcy. It's your own financial independence. That framing alone is worth more than a semester of school economics. Settlers of Catan works differently, and it's worth having in the rotation for younger kids. Nobody wins by eliminating the other players. You win by trading resources, negotiating deals, and building settlements faster than your competitors. A 10-year-old who learns to negotiate a brick-for-wheat trade is practicing something real. The idea that two people can both walk away from a deal better off than they started. The stock market game is free, runs online, and gives kids a simulated portfolio to manage over weeks or months. They watch their decisions compound or stall in real time. Long-term thinking gets rewarded. Panic selling gets punished. The feedback loop is honest in a way Monopoly never is. For younger children, Act Your Wage keeps the board game format, but teaches budgeting and delayed gratification in age-appropriate steps. Saving up for something costs patience. Spending everything costs opportunity. Children feel both sides of that equation without real money on the line. Now for the at-home demos, because these are where the learning actually sticks. The compound interest jar. Give your child $10. Every week for 8 weeks, add 10% of whatever is in the jar. Don't explain the math first. Let them watch it. By week 8, that $10 has become over $21 without them doing a single thing after week 1. Then ask them what would happen if they left it for a year. For 5 years. Make the abstraction physical and it stops being abstract. The partnership experiment. Pick a household task with a reward attached. Offer one child $2 to do it alone. Then offer 2 children $5 each to do it together. Same task, completed faster with more than double the payout per person. Sit with that for a minute and ask them why. The answer teaches more about joint ventures and equity sharing than most adults ever figure out on their own. The value creation question is the simplest and the one most parents skip. At dinner, instead of asking what your child earned or won today, ask what problem they solved. Reframe money as a signal, something that follows value. not something you grab before someone else does. Do that consistently for a month and watch how they start describing their own ideas.